Aneurin Donald is no stranger to setbacks. The young Welshman has had plenty of ups and downs in his short career.
Unfortunately, I ruined my knee, basically. Torn ACL, torn meniscus, and some cartilage damage, unfortunately. So I had full reconstruction just before Christmas. And on paper, looks about 6 to 9 months out.
After a knee injury threatens to derail his season before it begins, we take a look back at his career so far in the Aneurin Donald story.
Aneurin Donald, Hampshire cricketer.
Well, the first time I saw Aneurin, we were in Kevin Hengoyd. Kim Davis was the other coach, experienced coach. We'd never seen him before, and he was 10 by then. We had a net, and he hit a shot, an on drive. And Kim and I looked at each other and thought, who's this kid? Serious? And we thought, all right. Another over went by, played the same shot again, only harder. So he just looked class.
I think as a kid, it was natural. It still is natural. But I've also quickly found that if I tried to go too far away from that, I'd become worse. In terms of the technical aspect that I could go into. The basic thing is if I don't try and take it to them, I'm not the player I should be or could be. It is to some extent just the way I play, and it's always been very natural, and it's what I'm best at. I think that's probably what separates me from a lot of other people.
He was a great lad. You know what he was very inquisitive as a youngster. When challenging him in sessions, he would actually come up with challenges back to the coaches, which is always a pleasure to see and to hear. And yeah, you could sense that he was picking your brains constantly, which is a good thing, and we encourage that. Certainly in the academy now, and the junior academy, we encourage that a lot. Very inquisitive and pretty much streamlined to where he wanted to go.
Donald quickly rose through the ranks of Welsh cricket, but he was quick to acknowledge the help he had along the way.
In terms of my first involvement, it was probably through Wales, originally the Wales age groups. I probably got to about 15. I was playing multiple age groups for Wales. I started playing 17s cricket there and sliding into the minor counties team. And I think I was part of the first emerging players programme, they called it back then. I was fortunate to be run by the late great John Derrick. So I was part of that from about 15 and very quickly went on to the Glamorgan Academy. In my second team debut, I think it was either 15 and 16, played a whole season there, so I was very fortunate to get the opportunities I did. From a kid right the way through to leaving the end of last season, I was, I was treated as well as I could have hoped for, and they're a massive part of where I am today.
The 24th of September 2014 was a day all his hard work paid off, and he pulled on the Glamorgan daffodil for the first time.
I can't really remember actually how I got called up. I knew it was obviously the last game of the season and we were out. And I think they were looking to try and give me a game. I think I got a few runs, leading up to it. Got the go. I was fortunate to be the captain at the time. And, the leadership group around then, in terms of Mark Wallace and Jacques Rudolph, who I'm good friends with and get on very well. They were keen to get me in there nice and early. So I don't particularly remember too much. I remember getting out caught on the hook twice. So there's not much change there. I think it's something that you train all your life for, and you're quite prepared for it when it comes. And it was obviously nice to get a few second innings. I think I almost found it easiest that first year because you come in and you're not quite, a little bit naive, got wet behind the ears and going in, and I didn't really know what to expect, and I wasn't kind of worried about who I was playing against. I was just happy to be there and contributed, and it felt like at the time, and exactly the reason I was picked, I could contribute at that level and win games. I was obviously very pleased to prove I could consistently contribute at that level, and I was very fortunate to kind of experience that early on in my career.
You just sense authority, you sensed nous, you sensed a person that was probably around 3-4 years older than himself, his given age. His mindset was extremely professional. But Aneurin for me has stood out. He was always destined to go that extra, into first class cricket, potentially, the higher honours.
He's done everything that I expected him really. Obviously, you need a little bit of luck with, opportunity and all that. But as I say, he had the ability, but it's a mental toughness that decides how far you go.
He took to professional cricket like a duck to water, quickly making a name for himself as he equalled the fastest first-class double hundred in history at Colwyn Bay at just 19 years of age.
You know, again, for me, it was my first championship 100 for a start, so that was the biggest deal at the time. I'm just getting to that 100. Everything that happened thereafter was kind of a blur, and I'm not really sure I can describe it. I think the best way to put it in sportsman terms is I was just in the zone. It's just one of those days where the pitch wasn't big enough, and bowlers were never going to get me out, so I could hit the ball where I wanted, and it all came together on that day. People will tell you it's, obviously hundreds are what you get marked upon as a batsman at the end of your career. But having those kind of scores in those days are the ones that really, you'll sit down in a few years' time and really sit back and kind of enjoy it.
Naturally, this garnered a lot of plaudits, but many think his game is more suited to the shorter formats.
Again, naturally the way I play it kind of suits that game, and I've been fortunate in the sense that it's opened quite a few doors for me in the white ball game. And in this day and age, it's the place to be. You've got to be able to play like that to, progress. There's so many opportunities out there. Whether it's T20 leagues or T10 or 100 ball or whatever it is, there's so many opportunities out there now. So, in terms of being a professional cricketer, there's no better time and no better place to be right now than us young guys on the circuit. T20 is something I love. It's what you live for, because you turn up and there's a packed crowd. It's a bit different in championship cricket where, obviously, that's what you kind of build upon at the end of your career and your stats there. However, you a couple hundred people watching at best, where you go to a T20 on a Friday night and there's anywhere from 6,000 to 7,000 at the smaller grounds up to playing at finals day in front of 28. That's the special thing, and for me that's something I thrive on. You want to be playing in the big games in front of big crowds. That's the kind of thing you grow up dreaming about, and that's where you kind of get the incentive for. I'll always love T20, probably more based upon that rather than necessarily the game. It's just, you're out there to put a show on and there's people watching. It's a treat and a privilege to be able to be out in front of crowds like that.
But it quickly went downhill, as a dip in form saw him drop from the team as he struggled after the success of his first seasons at Glamorgan. This dip in form led to a difficult decision. Concerned by a lack of game time, he looked for pastures new.
Had a lot of success early on, and then had a couple of low scores and kind of got into a little bit of a rut, and it's in the county season, it comes so thick and fast, it's tough to get out of that. But I was I had all opportunities again in the world. They stuck with me probably when they shouldn't have. Glamorgan at the time and the captain. I think it's a great character builder for me now, and I think the last season, especially in red ball, it's kind of come to fruition. Going through the tough times, I come out on the other end, and I've improved my game and come into Division 1, moved clubs and did really well in the red ball, where I don't think too many people thought I was going to play a lot, and ended up kind of being one of the the first few names on the team sheet, which was an honour. As I mentioned, in terms of being the sole Welshman throughout the England age groups and trying to fly that flag, it was heart-wrenching at times to leave. But from a professional standpoint, it wasn't really too much of a question when Hampshire came in. But yeah, it's something not many people have to deal with. I left a country, not a club.